This is part two of the course outline of record document in use at Columbia College. I'm Letitia Miller, and this is August 3rd, 2016. And we're talking about the course outline report that comes from the Curricunet system. We left off in the previous video on talking about objectives and the role of objectives. What we're going to move on to here is the course content. So when we think about the course content of a course on the course outline, this is basically an overview of the different elements that are going to be taught in the course. It's sort of what the instructor is to deliver. What you're thinking about in terms of the objectives identify what the student should be able to do as a result of learning the content, okay? So it presents a format for the discipline expert, the faculty member, to understand what they need to touch upon in the course and what is expected of them as an instructor. And again, this plays a key role in the articulation process. So this is in the sciences, you're going to see a lot of deep, specific content because all of these are very essential to delivering certain courses, especially for transfer prep and etc. So then we have the content of the lab and activity. This is formatted a little strangely as a sidebar when we're looking at this. One thing to be mindful of when it comes to Curricunet is Curricunet is known to have bugs, and Curricunet is known to have some features that are incomplete, and especially those features that we don't use that often. So it's interesting that up above there is Roman numbering on that section of the course outline, whereas down below there is no Roman numerals. So why that is so, we don't know, but it's just an oddity that we might want to question. What I would do is probably ask Kathy Schultz, who's been with this institution longer, why that is so. Maybe she's not aware of it, and we'll say, well, do we want to have Roman numerals on this section of the course outline? And she says, well, yeah, and if there's agreement, one of your roles as the curriculum specialist is to help facilitate getting that improvement in motion on behalf of the college through the GovernNet ticketing system. So there's that. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the methods of instruction. Now the methods of instruction are those things that the instructor is supposed to do to facilitate delivery of the course content and mastery of the course objectives. So this outline indicates that the instructor will be giving audio-visual presentations, delivering class activities and discussions, facilitating collaborative group work, computer-aided presentations, etc., etc. These are all the different ways that the instructor is encouraged and allowed to deliver the course content. Then they talk about what kind of assignments. So they need representative assignments. So here they did reading assignments from Campbell, the textbook, et alia. Now, down here we see that the writing assignment gives an example. Students develop and test hypotheses, collect and present data, and analyze results. They're going to write 7 short papers related to what have you. One of the things that's the task of the college to demonstrate in order to articulate a course like this, a biology course, is to demonstrate the appropriate level of critical thinking. So the course outline really needs to demonstrate that. And the faculty member needs to be supported in doing that and being given feedback. Your average faculty member who's just starting on this process might not know that that's what's expected, but that's what the curriculum chair is in position to do, is to support her colleagues in writing and preparing a good outline, bearing in mind all these extenuating factors that come to bear on whether this is a good outline or not. The curriculum chair is going to be most mindful of that over anyone, but you can be a backup person in this area and get some insight from that person on how you can help support that. And then out of class assignments, and then other assignments. So this is just basically, what's the student doing? Give us examples, let us see. The methods of evaluation are how the instructor assesses the student in the class. So what kind of exams are given, quizzes, etc. How are you measuring the student's progress in the course? At Modesto, we had both formative evaluation and summative evaluation detailed on the outline. So formative being, what are you doing that are temperature checks along the way so that you can see if the student is doing well or perhaps faltering or struggling, and then how do you make a definitive conclusion as to whether or not the student did well in the course. And then the grading scale. Here's the grading scale. What's an A, what's a B, what's a C, what's a D? And then some additional assessment information. And then again, the grading scale. And then the representative texts and materials. This is an interesting field because the textbook, representative is a good word. Instructors should enjoy academic freedom, which means that they are free to deliver the course content on the course outline in a manner that they think best suits them and their students. Textbooks are oftentimes just recommended, basically, or typical. So if I'm teaching a class in English 1A, as an instructor, I might have a very different approach than my colleagues. So I want the latitude and have latitude to pick those textbooks or those classic works of literature to cover the content of the course in a way that I feel is appropriate. That's my academic freedom. But sometimes the departments feel it's really nice to collaborate and make a determination across all sections of the course to use the same textbook. But what's important is this is for you to know that this is not prescriptive. But the other thing is, specifically for articulation, where we can get dinged is on the textbooks. UC has, I believe, a 2-year recency requirement in terms of how old the textbook can be that you use on the course outline. It must be no older than 2 years old, and that's largely because sometimes these fields of study are changing so fast. And then the last element on the outline that we're concerned with is materials fees. Now, if I'm a student and I'm enrolling in a course, sometimes I'll see the flag, oh, materials fee required. Well, the curriculum committee is tasked with the responsibility of making the determination as to whether that can be put upon a course. There is Chancellor's Office legal opinion as well as a number of guidelines for whether or not you can charge students fees for materials. So when we think of materials, it's like chemistry goggles or welding rods for a welding class. Perhaps it's paint. And the idea is that the institution goes out and purchases the materials for the student on behalf of the student, perhaps because the college can get them at a better price, or we want to ensure the quality and consistency of the product being purchased so that all students are using the same quality of materials. But there are definitely parameters that we need to follow. This information is not currently detailed in Curricunet, but there may be plans to get materials fee details, such as what items are being purchased, and to validate them. It may be that we will be adding that module to Curricunet. That remains to be seen. So that's an overview of the course outline of record, and what you need to know is that this document, if being managed well at the division level, faculty members who are teaching courses should all know what the course outline is for the course that they're teaching, as full-time or as adjunct. And your role is to track it and use the information on this document as well as in Curricunet to do your work in DataTel and in producing the college catalog and in working with the California Community College Chancellor's Office. You will be saving this document and uploading it as needed. I have a very simple viewer on the course outline, which allows me to save it, because when I work with the inventory, I'm going to be submitting course data and uploading the course outline. So what I do is I just hit Control Save. On the Mac, it's Command Save. And what it does, it brings up the course title and the summer in which it was effective, and then I just save it to the location on my computer for later uploading. So that is prefab for you, but that's a handy little feature I'm proud to say that I put in place for us. Anyway, very good. On to the next video.